Venti Question Screen Discussions. I'm Chris.
And I'm Michael, and this is the show where we discuss everything from the silver screen to the small screen, and even the streaming screen you may have in your pocket.
True story. So we're going to put 30 minutes on the clock and give our opinion on what we just watched. So Michael, what did we just watch?
Well, Chris, tonight we watched Werewolf by Night, the Marvel special presentation on Disney+. And I have some opinions. How about you?
I have some opinions.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we got 30 minutes in 3, 2, 1, a go.
Okay. I loved it.
Here's the thing. Shockingly, so did I.
Yeah.
So obviously scary stuff is not for me. Even quasi-scary stuff, usually not for me.
I know.
And while it was done in your classic horror style, I didn't find any of it actually scary, or it was more hokey.
Well, that's because it was in a classic horror style.
That's the thing that makes me wonder, like, how much of that stuff would I actually like nowadays?
The older stuff?
Right.
You might like
I might actually like it.
Yeah.
But specifics, okay? So first things first, black and white.
Yeah, it was cool.
I really liked the choice of that.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the end, when the color slowly comes from the only thing that's been giving color the entire time, the
Bloodstone.
Bloodstone, thank you.
Yeah.
That was an awesome transition. Didn't expect it. Still not too sure on the song choice.
It was fine. There was purpose behind it.
Yeah, it was so unexpected that it was just kind of like, what? Like, it pulled me out for half a second.
So in that movie, right, because it was Somewhere Over the Rainbow,
right,
where it played, right? It was in black and white, and then it was in color,
right,
whenever it was. And so I think there was a cool association there.
Is that what the association was meant to be?
I mean, in my mind, it did that. So.
Here's the thing. It worked.
Yeah.
It pulled me out, but by the time that it was still playing over, I don't know the werewolf's character's name, and Ted.
Yeah.
It worked for me at that point.
Man
like
thing.
The man thing. Yeah. Ted. He's going to be Ted forever.
Dude,
for now.
That was awesome.
I absolutely love that. Let's talk about just the characters in general.
Yeah.
The introduction of the characters was really kind of cool. It made me think, and this is going to sound really stupid, but remember the movie Clue?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like where they kind of like introduced all of the characters into the situation. It kind of was similar to that, but a little bit more like serious, but it was so serious that it was not serious because it was intentional. It's like they were both paying homage to the old things and making fun of the old things at the same time. And I loved that.
I didn't get them making fun of the old things.
Maybe I just think I didn't realize the old things were as comical as they actually were.
I mean, they're only comical because they're obvious, because that's what it was. And then so many things come from it and copy it, and then it's just so on the nose where it's like, okay, and it just becomes corny over time, right?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's right.
Yeah.
Either way,
it reminds me of Knives Out. So we talked about that before, like the Clue thing.
I
right?
wanted to say Knives Out, but I still haven't seen Knives Out.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to say that and then be like, dude, that's just how the previews are. The movie's not like that at all.
Yeah.
Loser.
But to your point, the preview is very similar, where they're all in the room and they're all talking about who's who and kind of thing.
And that's awesome to me, because like the closest thing that I think of when I think of Nights Out is kind of like the one scene in Ocean's 13 when they're in the hotel room.
Oh yeah,
and they're all like sitting around eating, and they're talking about like he needs a tip. It's like, come on, we pool tips at the end of the night. Yeah, like that scene. It's a similar type of feel where like all the components for the entirety of what's about to happen are all in one place, and it's like the only time you're ever going to see them all at once,
right?
In this style, because it's like they were calm.
Yep. But it was good. Good character development and setup, right? So it was like you're wondering. It starts with kind of the main character you're supposed to be focused on, and then it progresses, and you're following that character into the room, into the scene essentially, and then it starts unveiling like who this character, like who these people are, and who's who, and what's what.
And what's even going on?
Yeah, a lot of foreshadowing too.
Yes,
which was nice. And then, honestly, you knew that there was something up with him because he didn't seem as cold and fearless as the rest of the hunters.
And also, he wasn't covered in like scars, so the one big dude had like multiple scars on his face. The other guy had a scar that went like up the side of his head.
Mm-hmm.
The really creepy looking woman, she was just creepy looking,
like David Bowie.
It kind of made me think of that one creature actor who I thought it was that one creature actor at first, the one that does Sapien for the Hellboy series.
Oh, I know what you're talking
about.
A
lot of lot of like the like famous like creature type things in Hollywood for the past like 20 years. It's been him.
Got it.
But I thought it was him at first, and then I was like, oh no, that's a woman, and I don't know what's up with her because she was the only one we didn't get like any kind of backstory on.
Right.
And then there's the other Asian guy who he had a like a scar, I think, up here somewhere.
Yeah, they all had something.
They all had something except for him. He just had like tribal looking stuff.
Right.
I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be paint or tattoos.
Tattoos. Yeah.
I'm assuming, but when they revealed the dead guy that then was requested after death to be turned into a poor animatronic.
Yeah.
I want that. Just so you know.
Okay.
If I go first, turn my body into a really poor animatronic for the reveal of the reading of my will. That's what I request at this point. It's being documented. That's what I want. Okay? Thanks.
I refuse to comply to that.
Come on.
No.
No. But yeah, that was funny. Once again, unexpected.
Yeah.
Did not see that happening.
Yeah, that part was cool and creepy and and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it did add to the allure of the whole thing. But I would say there was only one part of the whole entire thing, well, that bothered me. Maybe two parts.
The head bash?
The head bash. So
the big like Scotsman dude takes the main female character and literally bashes her head into a concrete wall on the corner
3 times.
3 separate times.
Not
and
one
like,
mark. Yeah.
It was bad. And here's the thing. If it wasn't for the fact that there was already so much blood and gore that had already happened and that did happen. Well, no, I'm sorry. No blood and gore happened yet. But that then followed. If there wasn't any of that, I could be like, okay, well, they were trying not to show that. But it's like, no. Right. Not even a minute and a half later, she literally cut a dude's arm off with an axe.
Right.
No.
And I don't know, does she have any type of powers or abilities because of her bloodline? And
I don't know, because that's the thing. Is like, obviously, we just got a snapshot into a huge world, is what it felt like.
Right. And we both aren't familiar with the source material because it's not really our genre.
So. No, it's not. But I'll tell you this, it worked because I want to now look it up.
Me too.
And that's the goal, right? Yeah. I mean, anytime the MCU is trying to bring in these lesser known characters, it's intentional so that we can then learn about their stories, and they want us to both be jumping back and forth with different forms of media so they can make more money. Sure. But this is one of those ones where it honestly made me go like, I want to find out who those people were. Because I feel that, like you said, every one of like the beasts that like the heads were hung on the wall,
right?
Because they showed them all multiple times and he had a physical reaction that they meant something. One, it's probably because those were all his friends,
right?
Which is really sad when you think about it later. But I guarantee they all have names and stuff. And then I bet all those hunters do as well.
Yep.
Because that's interesting. And like, obviously, when the information about this particular special was like getting closer to like coming out, one of the other thought processes was that we might see Mahershala Ali's Blade character,
right? Because
it's hunters and they're going blah blah blah.
Sure.
It makes me now wonder if it still could. In a sense, obviously, this is shot. This is done. Right. It was a one-shot thing. That's why it's a special presentation.
Sure.
But does this take place enough in the same world that the MCU is creating that we might get a reference or at least a name being said later on?
Perhaps.
I hope so, because that would be cool. Whenever they go out of their way to make a subtle nod from one property to the other property, it always gives me a little giggle. You know what I mean? It's like, it's always a positive for me.
Agreed. I know we're going to get a Moon Knight too, so it'd be interesting to see if they somehow bring those two together.
Which obviously I know that's how it started in the comics, but I have no idea how, or because I've always liked Moon Knight as a character as far as his design.
Sure.
I've never known anything about him until I saw the show.
Right.
Obviously, especially all the controversy that was surrounding the show because of the DID aspect of it. And some people were claiming, foul, and some people were claiming, a lot of love for it. There was a lot more information than normal being given, so I was able to learn a lot about the character, but I still don't understand the ties with the Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, it was just first appearance.
That was just his first appearance.
Yeah.
Also, the design they chose for the werewolf, I was very happy with. It looked more like your traditional
Wolfman.
Wolfman.
Right.
Instead of werewolf.
Right.
Okay, let me phrase that. The nowadays werewolf, where you have a full snout and there's almost no human characteristic left.
Right.
This one was very old school, where just some prosthetics.
Right.
And some extra fur.
Yep.
And I liked it.
It was a good choice. Yeah. It definitely fit.
Well, not only did it fit, but you got to see the actor's portrayal. Like, this was the same guy. Obviously, when he was flipping around and doing all the crazy cool stuff, that was a stuntman, obviously. Yeah. But like, you got to actually see the actor's talent in it, and I felt that it really shined through in those couple of scenes.
Yeah, agreed.
About halfway through, and we're going to be jumping all over because it's just, the spark.
Yeah.
But halfway through, when the first time that we meet Ted, Man-Thing, and the arm grows out and grabs him.
Oh, yeah.
What was your original thought? Like, oh, it's about to go down? Or like, oh, he's dead? Because part of me was like, oh, he's dead.
I didn't get that impression.
Really?
Because of how slow the arm came out and then went on his chest.
See,
he went like this, and then there wasn't like an immediate pulling into the...
No, yeah, it was a very different than expected. I just assumed that it was kind of like the Austin Powers, like, move out of the way, move type thing, where it was meant to be more of a joke, and the fact that he was so petrified that he could have gotten away if he had just moved. I assumed he was going to be a bad guy.
No,
a monster.
Oh, you mean the hands?
Yeah,
kind of grabbing. Yeah, so I assumed that this guy wasn't there to kill the monster. So because of that, when they came in contact, when the monster came in contact with him, for some reason I just didn't think that was.
See, I had almost zero expectations, to be completely honest. Like, I didn't. Thumbnails exist. Unfortunately, while we just watched this show, it came out like 2 weeks ago. Right. So it was impossible not to see images of the Man-Thing, all kinds of little.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that.
See, you're not on social media as much as I am.
This is true.
And I did see some of those things. So some of those things were spoiled to me. If it wasn't for that, I may have realized, like, oh, he's the werewolf a little bit sooner. I mean, I knew from the very beginning, but you know what I meant? Like, I didn't realize that's how it was going to go into it.
Sure.
I thought it was going to end up being a monster versus monster fight. That's what I was expecting.
Got it.
And I thought that each one of the hunters was going to have like some sort of like different mutational type thing or like power. I thought it was just going to be a little bit different. I thought it was going to be X-Men, but horror.
Understood.
So, when you have zero expectations, a lot of times you get pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
And like I said, overall, I really, really enjoyed it.
I would actually watch it again.
Yeah. I am looking forward to looking into some like breakdowns and things like that. Because like I said, I want to know all the little Easter eggs, because I know that there were so many times where I'm like, they're showing us this for no other reason because somebody is going, oh, that's the blah, 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 blah. Like we've done millions of times in other movies where we did know more of the source material.
Where it references one of the, like, oh, have you killed any of these your work? And
right.
And then he's like, oh, well, no, but I fought that one a bunch of times.
Many times. And that one they showed the most. That one to me looked like a Dracula-esque style.
So I'm familiar with, it looks so familiar to me, like from a comic book cover. I think that's someone who fought multiple times.
Okay.
Like, or was at least on the cover multiple times that I have seen. So.
Man, see, that's the stuff that, like I said, I honestly do want to look up and find out, because I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah.
I don't know why it surprised me. The quality of the choreography in the fighting scenes, like, obviously, I agree with you. The head bash,
right?
That was ridiculous that she had no mark, but it was an awesome movement.
Sure.
It was really good.
Some of the moves that she had to take down the hunters were phenomenal.
Some of the moves were like borderline better than Black Widow style, because it was very gymnastic in the same thing.
She did with the one little same Black Widow move.
She did the two legs or scissor like flip
around the neck.
Was like hurricane tornado or some crap like that.
Yeah.
In the WWE video games, it's like Hurricana something or another. I love doing those ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she did a couple of those moves, but then she did some other really cool stuff too. The fact that they have her cut off the dude's arm that has a little like Gatling gun version of a hand crossbow, if you will.
Sure.
Right? Because it had
shot darts, basically. Yeah.
It shot darts, but it shot so many effing darts, and he didn't have to reload it. It's like it just auto reloaded, which was amazing.
That was cool.
That she cut his arm off, which was awesome, and then grabbed the severed arm and shot him with his own found weapon.
Yeah.
Oh,
Through the chin.
Came out. Yeah. Which shouldn't have killed him, by the way.
No, I was thinking that too.
But technically,
he was still bleeding out.
I think he died from bleeding out, because she was holding his mouth when they were laying down when the big Scotsman.
All they needed to do there for me is like if she grabbed his nose and mouth at the same time to kind of like suffocate him
a little bit. Yeah. The only one that no, he did die eventually. Okay, I was gonna say I think the Scotsman dude's the only one that made it out, but no, Man Thing.
He's one of the first.
Got him bad. Yeah. It's because it was so quick that I didn't remember it. Because the other guy, the one that had the cut on the side, he actually
did a couple moves.
He did some cool stuff, but then he got. She could fight.
Yeah.
So the main female character, you get the impression that she's not on their level, right? Almost at every aspect. She's not a hunter.
Right. And they allude to like that a little bit too.
They do. But then when push comes to shove, she could use a longsword really well. She was able to do hand-to-hand combat very well. She was able to shoot a guy while holding an arm.
Yeah.
I mean, she's good.
Well, the stepmother, I'm going to assume it's what
stepmom.
The evil woman was the bad guy.
The baddie.
The baddie. She said, oh, and he never, you never trained, whatever.
Yeah, he didn't practice. Yeah.
And then she referenced, just not with him.
Right.
So she had training.
They did enough foreshadowing to justify what happened, but not throwing it in your face foreshadowing.
Right.
Nor did we get a Geeks God Leia.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have that either.
For that
so there was justification for it. The only contrived thing I could put out was the whole her remembering that there was a set of keys inside the one tomb.
Yeah. But, no, that's just taking an experienced personal information.
That it was one of those like, really? But it also worked. I think the only reason why I really had an issue with it was because I was in very much agreement with you that the door that was trapping them in was about 1.5 inches thick.
So they were locked in this tomb at one point, and the door, like he went to try to open the door because he shut it and it locked behind him, and then they were stuck in it. And he was like pushing on the door, and the whole thing's moving.
Yeah, it was very.
And it looked like they're glass, like panes,
Yeah.
So like, can these hunters not break a door?
Yeah, because there was a hunter on the other side that was trying to break in as well.
An axe, mind you. or with some type of big weapon.
Oh wow, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So there's that, and then she rips this sconce off the wall like it's nothing.
And when she did that, I literally turned to you and went, "Is she like super strong or something?" Because it made the easy assumption that she had just taken like I don't know how many times we're going to say this, 3 massive blows to the head from the big guy, just slamming her head into that concrete. And then she rips the sconce off. And when she did so, there was like sparks. She was able to do the flips and the kicks and all the other crazy stuff with the guy.
The door they can't take down a door.
Yeah. Who knew? It's like they were playing D&D, or like they can do all these crazy things, but then they roll a natural 1 and they can't open a freaking door. So it was if that's my only negative, it's a positive movie.
So real quick, what did you look this up already? What it's been rated? What people think about it?
No, I have not.
So I did.
Okay.
What do you think?
Okay. Critics,
Rotten Tomato.
Right. Of course. Critics are going to be higher than audience, in my opinion.
Okay.
I want to guess them individually. Okay. So I'm going to guess critics first. I'm going to go with an 80% from critics. Am I right or wrong?
Well, no, do both.
Well, see, I wanted to. Okay. I would say that audience score is probably going to be in like between 55 and 65.
So the reveal is tomato meter is 91.
Wow.
And audience score is 90.
Oh my gosh. I did not have that much faith in like people.
Yeah. They appreciated it. Go figure.
That here recently, that's one of the best Marvel freaking things that there's been.
Insane.
Okay, but
do you know why?
On, that's so much crap.
Do you know why?
More people like this than they did She-Hulk? Okay, whatever.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other thing.
This conversation is purely about Werewolf by Night, so we'll stick to that.
The reason is you're pulling in a whole other genre, and people who appreciate a genre, the horror genre,
and people that have not ever had an opportunity with the MCU, at least, to have something in their genre. Obviously, Marvel in general, like when they did the New Mutants, that was a quasi horror movie or whatever,
right?
Which is why I'll never see it.
Right.
I'm not taking a chance on that one. That one, actually, there's like people
Yeah. Now, another reason why I think it's so high is because you kind of knew what you were watching, just if you ever saw the preview or trailer, the way it's shot, the tone, everything. So you kind of know what you're getting into just by watching the preview. The expectations are so the people who aren't going to watch it, they weren't going to watch it, and they're not going to rate it. People who are going to be interested in it,
that is fair.
They are going to be like, oh, and then like our reaction, is like, wow, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, because you're not going to. People that are 100% against it are not going to watch it. People on the fence are going to watch it. Like I would say, I was on the fence.
Me too. Yeah,
but it was done so well that it's going to win them over.
Right.
So I can see where that can make sense. Because I'll be honest, if it wasn't for the fact that I knew that this would be a great topic to go over, I probably would never have watched it.
Right.
Just because it's not typically in my wheelhouse. You know what I mean? And the way that it was sold to me was correct. It's just that I wasn't knowledgeable enough about the terminology they were utilizing to realize that, oh, it's not like scary. Because I was told like it's straight up old school horror from like the very beginning to the very end, which is accurate. I just didn't realize that old school horror.
It wasn't
like
slasher.
This.
It's a monster movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And I because I don't know a lot about that particular area, I didn't know the differentials in between the terminology. So
sure.
Overall, I very much enjoyed it. I have some friends that have also been like, I guess I'll watch it eventually. I'm going to recommend they actually watch it now.
Yeah.
Because I think that it's something that pretty much everybody will enjoy. Still not sure if the kid would like it.
So we started watching this with my daughter, wanting to watch it with us.
Yes. And
not advisable. She's 4.
I did not want this to happen, by the way. I was very against this.
I knew that by the time it got to anything, she'd be sleeping.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just know her. I know her when she's that tired and when she sits down, you know.
If I explain a couple of things to the kid first, being like, look, it's going to look like it's scary, but there's no jump scares. It's just atmosphere, and there's actually nothing scary about anything. The scariest thing is one of the nicest characters.
Right.
Ted is awesome.
That's cool.
Then I think she would be fine with it, and she would probably just start laughing and be like, what is that? Because obviously for a 10-year-old who's never seen these types of genre or like time capsule style things, she's going to be very confused. Like, why is that happening? You know what I mean? Like from a little kid's point of view.
My daughter's 4, and in the beginning she said, Daddy, the TV's not working. The TV's broken.
Is that why you were talking about it in black and white? Because I only heard bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Oh, that's adorable. Oh.
Yeah. You got to fix the TV, Daddy. It's not working. I'm like,
that is funny.
No, honey, it's shot in black and white. Those just doesn't have any color intentionally.
Yeah. Which
she's like, okay.
I really do think that was a wise choice.
Awesome.
Because one, for somebody like me who's very big on quality CG, when you turn to black and white and you're going with this kind of like hokey monster movie style, you can get away with murder.
No pun intended.
And don't get me wrong, I saw a couple of things, but the same token, it felt like they were intentionally put in.
Right.
And so it just kind of made everything look fine. I really enjoyed it. And then when they finally did go color, man, they looked amazingly good.
Yeah.
I was worried about the eyes.
Sure.
But no, it really, really looked good. Even when he was in like the forest scene, when, like the contrast between like, you know, he's a plant looking thing and the other real plants, the contrast still looked good. He looked good. They did a really good job of the interaction between the live action person and the CG character.
Sure.
Which obviously there has been some issues with in the past.
Yeah.
With some of the MCU stuff. So
yeah. Overall, I will say I agree with the scores, the ratings.
Oh no, 100%. Sorry if I didn't mention that. No, I agree with it. The only reason why I lowballed it is because
you didn't have faith in people.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that the critics were that high. It's deserving, but dude, getting over like an 80 is hard.
I think they
unless it's like going to be an Oscar movie or something.
I want to say the critics appreciated the nuances, the art of it, the the little, we talked about the little circle, the top right of the screen indicating the changed reel,
which was awesome.
The little details like that they put in there. I think people see that stuff and they appreciate it. I did. So I thought it was pretty cool. One last thing I'll say, and you commented on this too. I loved how they did the transition scene where it's his shadow changing into the werewolf, and you just see the fear in her eyes as she's looking,
because of the strobe light effect, where you see an arm jet out and then all of a sudden it goes black. And then the next scene, it's like over here, way off to the side. And then it's down there and up here. And then you just slowly see the silhouette change into a more monstrous form.
Yeah.
That was done so well.
Right.
And it probably saved millions of dollars in CG.
I don't know about millions, but yes. Yeah.
It was a long transition scene.
Sure.
Sure. But like that saves so much money on that. It saves so much time and energy, and then also ridicule.
Yeah.
Right. Because that could have been the thing that people made crap with. Once again, She-Hulk. So it's very plausible.
It gave the it fit with the theme of, we don't know how to do this yet because this is an old school, old theme, right? Like, cinema, right? So it's like they do the cutaway and use different illusions to make you, think that it's changing, or
it was more clever, filmmaking back then. Yes. I'm completely and totally in agreement with that. CG has made things possible that weren't possible before, but it's also, in my opinion, made some filmmakers a little bit lazy because they're more dependent.
Post-production.
Exactly.
It's like,
So we got about 15 seconds left. So final verdict. Overall, if you had to give me like a 1-sentence blurb for the back of the box, what are you putting?
A great throwback, and I would say a great tribute was a better word to classic horror movies of yesterday.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Know? I would have said something along the lines of fun for the whole family, baby's first horror movie.
Okay. Swords in the head, and
Oh, remember, violence I think should happen from a very young age. It's just scary parts, I don't think. My daughter's first movie was The Avengers.
Yeah.
She was like 2 months old.
Cool.
That explains a lot.
That explains a lot.
Anyway, so that's our 30 minutes. So, forever hold our peace and everything else. Overall, I liked it. Yeah. I'm happy we watched it, and we recommend you watch it.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely thank you for making it through this video, listening to us talk about our opinions. If you enjoyed this, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It would be great. It'd be awesome. Yeah, also, throw some comments down there. Let us know what you thought about it, as well as if you know what any of those individual cool little things were. For instance, like, who the heck's bust was that guy that looked like a vampire that he kept talking about? If you know his name, put it in the comments. Let me know. Make my life easier. Okay? That'd be great.
Laugh, it's like Dracula.
That's what I think it is. I really think it is. And if that's the case, like, that's fine. That's fine. I should have known that, but still. There you go.
Well, we have to go because it's going to be a full moon.
Really? I said we would come up with an extra. I didn't mean that we would say stupid stuff.
Well, I say stupid stuff. Those are my dad jokes, and you cannot take them away from me.
Fair. All right. Well, until next time. Yeah, I'll be going.